Live from Mutant Studios, it's Warzone This Week with your host, Arcade.
What's up, folks? The Season 5 update is here, bringing a whole bunch of new locations, maps, changes, and of course, brand new weapons. Week 5 intel for The Lost Team is also here, which you can follow along in our Hey Potato app, along with the stats and weapons we cover today. Let's dive right in with a look at nerfs and buffs to existing weapons. The Famas received a big buff, no longer having a second range in Warzone. That's right, the damage now stays the same as it did under 32.5 meters in multiplayer. That's pretty big, but makes a lot of sense to put it in line with some of the other heavier rifles such as the Odin and the FAL. The Dragunov, SKS, and EBR had the same buff given to them with just one single damage profile in Warzone now, which is pretty interesting and makes them all much more viable. There were a couple of unannounced changes as well. Finally, the RYTEK is dealing 250 damage and one-shots players at any range in Warzone. This bug lasted for quite a while, and now get ready to be sniped even more. Another unannounced change, which seems to have happened last week, is that the AMAX with the conversion doesn't have 3 ranges anymore, but just 2 in Warzone. So, unlike in multiplayer, the AMAX with the 10R mags will do 94, 54, 49, 45 damage from anywhere over 35.5 meter. That kinda puts it in line with the FAL, Odin, and Famas now as well. That's it for the weapon changes we've discovered so far. Some new updates are also happening to the Easter egg hunt. The keypads at Stadium became active today, and folks in our Discord were quick to get in and solve the new Easter egg to get the new Enigma blueprint. To get the code for the executive room, you first have to find the other 3 blue keycards, which access the 3 server rooms, one on each floor of the stadium. In each of these rooms is a computer which will give you a set of 8 numbers and symbols. All you need to do is overlap them on top of each other to figure out what the numbers and the symbols represent. If the first code has a 0, 2, and this symbol, but the second code has a 1 where that symbol is, then you know that it's a 1. And the other symbol is then a 2, which you can use to fill in the rest of the numbers. It's not too difficult, but good luck surviving out there. Now, let's check in with our own brave little toaster, Toasty, who's at the new hot drop for Dansk Stadium. Toasty?
First, let's have a moment of silence for the game you had to delete for this one. Damn it! Well, good thing that this update will lower the overall size on your console or PC. PS4 users can expect a download size of 33 gigabytes, Xbox users 49 gigabytes, and you PC players a whopping 54 gigs, 47 if you only play Warzone. All those poor SSDs. Barely knew what hit him. First, for the multiplayer side of the patch, finally, what is rightfully listed in the patch notes as a fix, we have the weapon inspection, ladies and gentlemen. You can now see that glorious Damascus growl without having to reload. Fixes to prevent screen tearing, always good to see them continuing to optimize the game. Even a fix for a hilarious bug where Price and Gaz occasionally lose their eye models while navigating the menus. They also fixed a bug in custom games where if you select the headshots only option, male operator hitboxes weren't functioning properly. That's why Cade won all those private matches. I gotta tell Beast this. Another change they've added is how footsteps work. They've added a brief decay period between when you are sprinting, tactical sprinting, and to walking. So no more sneaky ninjas. We've also got a fix for the RYTEK where the default scope could not be customized. Stopping power rounds now stay in the gun when dropped as well. A few voiceover changes in this patch too. First, we have the change to the High Alert perk. You'll now hear a voiceover when the perk is triggered. They also corrected an issue where players would hear the missed hit voiceover for the precision airstrike killstreak right after calling it in. There's also a fix to an invisible collision area in Barracuda Promenade. A fix for a bug where the 23-inch RPK barrel would appear broken in-game and in the gunsmith menu. Over on the Warzone side of things, up first is new loot items. New season, new loot. We are getting 8 new common, 13 uncommon, 15 rare, 19 epic, and 25 legendary variants. GULAG weapons will now rotate every week between 4 different sets. A fix for invalid pings on the baby monitor, heartbeat sensor. We're also getting additional voice-over lines to warn you of enemy recon drones. There's also a change to the most wanted contract where upon completion, it will respawn your teammates in the gulag in any state. And a small fix to the live and gas challenge timer. Alright, so let me get out of here before I get killed. I do need to make it over.
Thanks, Toasty. Now, let's take a look at the new weapons. First is the ISO SMG, which you unlock at level 15 of the Battle Pass. This SMG has a fire rate of 860 RPM and does 36 damage to the head up close under 16.5 meters, 25 to the chest and stomach, and 22 to the limbs. That drops down to 29, 20, 18 between 16.5 and 22 meters, then to 27, 19, 17 from 22 to 35 meters, and finally 23, 16, 14 over 35 meters. For Warzone, that gives it an optimal TTK of 0.419 seconds if hitting all headshots, or 0.628 seconds for chest shots. Very similar to the Uzi. At distance though, it will outperform the Uzi, Striker, and Bizon with a 0.698 second TTK for headshots and 1.047 seconds for chest shots. Still, stat-wise, it might be one of the worst SMGs in the game, but we'll see what the players make of it in their own hands this week. Now, looking at its other stats, we see a sprint to fire of 0.124 seconds, an ADS time of 0.179 seconds, 2.236 seconds to reload, and 1.340 seconds for the reload cancel. We'll look into the bullet velocity attachments, movement speeds, and more in a more in-depth guide coming next. Though you can check out more in our Warzone Assistant app now. Now, onto the new AR, the AN-94. This is a unique AR that fires at 550 RPM, but its first 2 bullets will fire at 1100 RPM. It does 46 damage to the head up close under 21 meters, 34 to the chest, 31 to the stomach, and 29 to the limbs. That drops down to 38, 28, 26, 24 between 21 and 31.5 meters, then 35, 26, 24, 22 from 31.5 meters to 44 meters, and finally 29, 20, 19, 18 over 44 meters. For Warzone, that gives it an optimal TTK time of 0.436 seconds if hitting all headshots and 0.655 seconds for chest shots, though that will change if you miss that first very accurate burst. At longer distances, that will drop to 0.764 seconds for headshots and all the way to 1.2 seconds for body shots. That puts it near the bottom as one of the slowest killing ARs in the game as well. For its other stats, it has a normal AR sprint to fire of 0.625 seconds, ADS time of 0.229 seconds, reload speed of 2.577 seconds, and 1.641 seconds for the reload cancels. Finally, we get the dual Kodachis, which you unlock by getting 3 knife kills from behind in 15 matches. That sounds fun. These do the same damage as the knife, but have a pretty crazy reach to hit players, which makes them incredibly useful. We kinda figured this is somewhere between 3 and 4 meters. While they are just a little bit slower for the rate of attack, I think the reach is going to make up for it anyway. Well, that's really it for the new weapons and our show tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you again next week. Arcade out.